Hi, and welcome to Mr. Garofalo's podcast. Today's episode, we're looking at solving literal equations and formulas. And I decided to look at example 10 today. Most classes today did not get to see this example done, so we'd like to take a look at it now. Uh, we're given ax plus b is equal to d minus ex, and we're asked to solve for x. So the first thing I would want to take notice of here is that there's a term with an x on it on the right side, cx, and a term with an x in it in the left side, ax. So I'd want to get these terms together on the same side. So I'm going to start by adding cx to both sides, which is going to give us ax plus cx plus b is equal to d. And next I'd want to move this b over to the right side, and I could accomplish that by subtracting it. So that's going to leave us with ax plus cx is equal to d minus b. So from this point, we're actually going to have to use a strategy that we're somewhat unfamiliar with, the idea of undistributing or factoring. If we look at this expression, we see that this binomial on the left-hand side, we see that both terms have an x. It's an ax plus a cx. To make this a little bit more simpler to understand, I want you to think about if a and c were numerical coefficients. So let's think of something like if a was 2 and c was 3, then it would be 2x plus 3x. So we'll say a is a 2, and we'll say c is a 3. I think we all know by this point that this is equal to 5x when we combine 2x plus 3x. So this 5 really came from the sum of 2 plus 3. So really what happened is it's 2 plus 3 times x. And if you look closely, what we have here is an application of the distributive property. X would be distributed through the sum 2 plus 3. So we can use that same logic here and replace 2 and 3 with a and c and say that the sum of a plus c multiplied by x would be equal to d minus b. And if you look here, if we distribute this x, it would be x times a, which is ax, and x times c, which is cx. So this is called undistributing, or really called factoring. And when we take a look at second-degree equations later in the year, we're going to study factoring in a lot further detail. But for right now, if you can look for when you have the same factor in each of the terms, if you can look to undistribute it, you'll be able to get that variable isolated. So the whole purpose here is that now that we have the x as a product of x times the binomial a plus c, now we can divide by the expression a plus c on both sides. So a plus c divided by a plus c would cancel out, leaving us with x equals d minus b over a plus c. So I would consider this one of the harder problems in this packet. And if this isn't totally comfortable for you yet, that is okay. This idea of undistributing or factoring will build itself over the year as we go along. If we jump ahead to your homework, one of the areas that you could use this on is problem number 4. You see in problem number 4, this is Rx plus Sx equals k minus h, and they're asking us to solve for x. Well, one thing I'm going to notice here is that each of these terms has an x in it. So again, if we made up values, let's say R was 7, and we'll say S was 2, we would know that 7x plus 2x is 9x. So we're really adding the numerical coefficients and keeping the variable. So 7 plus 2 times x. So we can use that same logic here and say that this is simply r plus s multiplied by x. And if you look, what we essentially did was undistribute this. We took x, and if we multiplied it through, it would be x times r and x times s. And you would have to use that on this problem because that's the only way you would be able to isolate the x. And now we could divide, as we did on that example, we could divide by the binomial r plus s. That would leave us with x isolated, and on the right side we'll have k minus h over r plus s. Well, good luck with the rest. Remember to do some studying for your quiz tomorrow. Remember, literal equations and formulas are not part of your quiz tomorrow, but there are a couple of questions that at the end that will help you for your quiz. Question 12, 13, and 14 would all be fair type of questions for your quiz. Plus, you have resources that you can look at on the e-board and past homeworks. See you in class tomorrow.